Hi, you guys. It's Renata. Someone asked me if I could do a video sharing tips on how to find a job. Now, I'm definitely no expert on finding jobs. As a matter of fact, I need a permanent job myself. As you guys know, I got laid off December 2016. So it's almost been a year. It's coming up on a year. I can't believe how fast the time went. However, I have been blessed, and I thank God that I've been blessed with a somewhat of a long-term contract assignment. So for almost a year, I think I was off maybe a month or two before I found this temp assignment, and actually the assignment found me, and I'll tell you guys how that happened in hopes that it can help you as well. So it's coming up on a year that I've been at this particular place. But I need not to get comfortable. I need to continue to look for a permanent job just because of the benefits and all that comes with a permanent job that may not necessarily come with a contract position or a temp position. So we'll come back to that whole subject of temp jobs. But what I want to say first is it can get discouraging. It can get real discouraging when you're looking for a job. I experienced that myself before I found this position. And even, like I said, with me looking for a permanent job, it really can get discouraging. But I want to encourage you guys to just keep looking, keep praying, keep believing in yourself, erase that whole TI way of thinking that we're blacklisted, we're everything that happens, everything that we expect to happen good does not happen for us, and that everything gets sabotaged. Just try to, where some of that may be true, the sabotage is real. I've experienced it myself. But don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. And we just have to believe in God and trust God that something will work out for us. Okay. So I'll share some of the things that I've been trying to do and some of the things that I realized because I had been on my last job for just short of 10 years. And my jobs before that, most of my jobs have been long term. So it was a shock to me how things had changed. Like everything had changed. And they want you to know all these things that I did not used to have to know when I was looking for jobs. So whereas back in the day, I used to be able to find a job really, really fast. Things changed. Things have changed. And then you throw the targeting stuff in there. So it makes it that much harder. But as I said, we can't give up hope. We have to keep trying. We need a job to be able to take care of ourselves. It's also a good idea if you have any skills, which all of us have some sort of skills that the Lord has gifted us with. Maybe you can create a job for yourself or go into business for yourself. That's another good idea. However, I'm going to just share with you some of the things that I came up with and some of the things that I have learned throughout my journey of trying to find a job and things that I've learned along the way. Okay? Number one, everything starts with a really good resume. The resume is the first thing that the employer is going to see. Okay, so your resume needs to be impressive. It needs to stand out against the rest. Okay. Another thing I want to say about the resumes is when the human resources department or whoever collects the resumes for the company, what they do is they upload all of the potential applicants into a computer. The computer searches for keywords. Okay, so the more keywords you have for that particular job that you're going for, the more of a potential match you're going to be for that job. Okay. The resumes who stand out the most and have the most matches, those are the ones that end up on the desk of the hiring manager. Okay, so you want to make sure that your resume sticks out. One of the things you can do is when you see a job that you want to apply for, and even if the job doesn't require a resume, it's still a good idea to give one because that's just impressive. Because a resume gives a snapshot of your work history, and it's right there in the employer's face, easy to read. You know, you don't have to put your whole life story, but you know, just some key things that you want to stand out. You want to make it one page if at all possible. You don't need to go back more than 10 years, although in some cases, depending on what I'm applying for, some cases I do go back a little more than 10 years because there's specific jobs that I want to display on my resume. And some of those jobs go way back, but I want them to know I have experience in that area. But that's a little iffy. You don't want to do that if you don't have to, but I'm just telling you that I have done it, and it's because it was a different industry and all that kind of stuff, okay? Bottom line is you really want your resume to stand out, okay? So let's say, for instance, you're going for a job as a chef, okay? And they say they want you to have cutlery experience, and they want you to have sous chef experience, and they want you to have all these things when you read the job description. Those are some of the words that you want to use, whatever verbiage they use. You want to mirror that verbiage without sounding like you're copying the job description verbatim, but you want to get as close as you can to the same verbiage, the same language that they're using in the job description. You want to put that on your resume. Also, you may need different versions of your resume because for me, I apply for different things. So you don't want to use a resume for a chef if you're going for a clerical job. Okay? You want to outline the clerical aspects of your work history if you're going for a clerical job. And if you're going for a chef job, you want those job history, job, whatever I'm trying to say. You want that to stand out, okay? So you can find some really good sample resumes and cover letters, by the way, because a lot of the jobs would like you to send a cover letter as well. And you can find really good examples just by doing a Google search. So using the example of the chef, you can Google sample chef resume, and something should come up, okay? Sample clerical resume, and something should come up. Sample teacher resume, and something should come up, okay? You don't want to copy those verbatim either. You want to be as close to what you have really done in your job history as possible, okay? Sometimes you need to stretch the truth a little, but you don't want to stretch it too much, okay? Because they will be calling and checking your references and all that kind of stuff. Also, when you're thinking of doing your resume, brainstorm. Sit down with a pencil, ink pen, and a blank. Okay, a pencil or an ink pen. You don't need them both, and a blank piece of paper. And just brainstorm all of the jobs you had. Write out all of the job responsibilities. Okay, going back to clerical. You would write clerical at the top and then just start brainstorming everything you did in that particular job. I have done this. And I came up with a lot of things that I didn't even realize that I had done. Okay, so I ended up putting things like accounts payable, which you wouldn't really think would be in an administrative assistant role, but it was there, okay? Because I did do it, and I did it very often. Accounts payable, ordering office supplies, travel arrangements, meeting preparation, whatever you've done, PowerPoint presentations, Excel, Word, whatever you've done, just brainstorm that, okay? Don't even put a lot of thought into it, just brainstorm all the things you've done. And you'll be surprised at what you've really, really done, okay, in your work. Because a lot of us go way beyond that generic job description. Once you actually get on the job, you end up doing way more than they told you were going to do. So it's important to remember those things, okay? The reason why you want to remember those things, okay, let's say for me, a lot of what I've done is executive assistant, administrative assistant type work, okay? once I did my brainstorming, I realized that I could apply for a lot of different jobs other than administrative assistant. Okay. Once I really sat down and really realized I could apply for accounts payable, I could apply for a meeting planner, and that was something that I really enjoyed. And these are things you want to remember for your interview as well, some things that you really enjoy, because I've had several people ask me, which aspects of your job did you really enjoy? And I realized that I really like meeting planning. I really like that, which makes sense because I've always liked party planning in my personal life. I like throwing parties and stuff like that. I used to. um, and that's something that just gave me joy. So it would make sense if I like to do party planning that I also like meeting planning because they're very, very similar. Okay. Um, I enjoyed different projects because they were solo and I was able to just be with me and the project and then, just me in my own little world. I like those kind of solo, solitary things and I like to see the end result of those things. So those are the things that you want to remember when they ask you, what did you like about your job? Okay. And the more you start pulling your job responsibilities that you had in the past, the more you'll see that you can apply for more than what your actual job title was. In other words, I could probably make a really good travel coordinator. I can put together trips really well because I did it. I did it for years and years and years. I worked for people who traveled all over the world. I know about international travel. I know about domestic travel. I know about different time zones. These are things that we need to keep in mind and make sure we don't limit ourselves. Now, I can limit myself to administrative assistant or executive assistant. I could do that, but I could also branch out, trust myself, and trust God that if I wanted to be uh, work at one of these airlines and put together trips and things, I could do that very well. I could possibly work at a hotel because I've dealt with hotels a lot in my careers. Okay, so these are the things I'm just trying to get you to think outside of the box a little bit. Because if you apply for things that you haven't done per se as a job description, you have not done that. That was not your official title, but in your work duties, you have done these things. So go ahead and apply for these things because for me, I can say for 10 years, I've done accounts receivable. I've done it. Accounts payable and accounts receivable. I've done it. I've done the meeting planning. I've done calendaring. I've done all that kind of stuff for 10 years. Okay. So if I want to apply for a job as a meeting coordinator, I can say I did it for 10 years. That was not my job title, but that was one of my job responsibilities. And I'm confident that what I don't know about it, I can learn because I have the gist of it because I've done it enough to know that I can catch on. Okay, so think about those things and do not limit yourself because if I want to apply for, let's say, a travel agent, okay, because I've done a lot of travel arrangements. Now, if I want to apply for a travel agent, I can say I did that for 10, 15, probably even 20 years, really, when I start adding it up with other companies too. If the job that I apply for, if they trust me and they believe in me, based off my resume, and I'm not saying on my application to them, I'm not saying that was my title. I'm saying that was one of my duties. I did it well, and I'm confident I can do it for your company full time. If they trust me enough to want to talk to me more about it and interview me, why should I not trust myself? You see what I'm saying? If you have a skill that perhaps you didn't do it as a job, but you did it as a hobby, and you're confident that if someone hired you, you could do it and you could be the best that you can be at it. Why wouldn't you? It's not costing you anything to apply for that job. If they trust you, then you should trust you. and you go in there and you sell yourself. You practice, you do some practice interviews with someone if you can, and you go in there and you sell yourself, and you go in there with confidence, and you don't worry about the whole targeting thing. That's another thing I want to tell you guys. Don't worry about that. Get that off your mind and do what you need to do to try to get a job. Okay? So do some brainstorming. Once you have finished your resume, upload your resume to different websites. Like, there's a lot of different job boards, but I'm going to tell you a few of the main ones. LinkedIn, of course. A lot of people go to LinkedIn and look. I didn't find LinkedIn very user-friendly, me personally, but I do have my resume out there, but I didn't find it very user-friendly, but I know that it is a very popular job board. Okay, so make sure you put your resume there. Monster.com is a big one. The one that I like the best is Indeed. Indeed. And I'll try to remember to put the links in the description. But Indeed. Okay, you can find, when you first sign up, they will ask you, are you looking for temporary work? Are you looking for permanent work? You know, what you're looking for. I would check both. If you are not working at all, check everything. Make sure that you make your resume visible. I had my resume visible for a long time, but I hid my resume for right now, since I'm working, pretty steady right now. But my resume is still on their website, so I check it often. I check the message boards often, and if I see something I want to apply for, I physically go on there and send my resume. Okay, but if you make your resume visible, which I would strongly suggest if you're not working, make it visible on all these websites. The reason you want to do that is because the employers check there. They check those websites every day, and they will contact you. And that's the reason why I hid mine, because I was getting so many people contacting me a day, and you will too. You will get a bunch of people contacting you. Now, I will warn you that most of them will be temp jobs. If you check that you're available for temporary work, which you should if you're not working, most of the people from those job boards are temp jobs. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? Because some jobs are temp to hire. Okay, so you may start off somewhere temporary, you do a good job, and you may get hired. Not only that, it beats a zero. You know what I mean? It beats a zero. If you have nothing coming in or little coming in, is going to beat that just to be able to work, okay? Plus, it's going to give you some recent work experience. And that's what employers are looking for. They're looking for recent work experience. Okay, so even if you can get a week here, a day there, it's showing that you're trying to do something. You're trying to do something. Also, another advantage to a temporary agency is that most of them have software. If you're into the clerical kind of thing, they have software that they can send to your computer if you ask, which I have done. I've asked them to send me their training tools. And so you can sit at home and you can train yourself on things. And once you learn whatever it is you're trying to learn, say you want to learn Excel. Okay, so you ask them to send you Excel to your computer, and they will do that. You practice on that. You tell them when you're ready to test. You take the test. You pass the test. And now you qualify for even more than you qualified for before. And they'll list that in their computer. Okay, so now you know how to do Excel. So we can send you out on some jobs that require Excel. Okay, I did that. You can really, really, really build your skills through temporary agencies. So I would highly suggest that to anyone. The job that I'm on now, I'm totally, totally blessed. I'm still amazed at what God did, because this lady contacted me, and she really went up and beyond. I didn't know her. She didn't know me. She told me she saw my resume. She was interested. She wanted to do a Skype interview, which I didn't even know how to do Skype because I'm not up on technology. That's another thing. They're really wanting a lot of stuff now. So I'm learning that they want you to be able to do Skype. They want you to be able to do Google Docs, which I don't know how to do. I'm going to train myself on that one day. And they want you to even set up like their Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff now if you're into clerical. I know that everybody listening to this is not into clerical, but I'm kind of talking clerical stuff because that's what I've always done. But they want so much now, so much. And I used to really be up on the latest stuff, but I'm not up on this social media stuff. So I know that I have to bring myself up to speed on that. But so this lady, she wanted to do a Skype interview. I told her, sure, we can do it. I got off the phone sweating like, oh my gosh, I do not know how to do this, but that's okay. Because one thing I'm learning is that there is an art to learning how to figure things out. And that's one thing I try to do is just figure things out. So got off the phone with her, figured it out, okay? We did the Skype interview. She said that she wanted to go ahead and send me on this interview, and she did, and I did not feel too confident after the interview. I wasn't quite sure because I hadn't done this particular type of work in many, many years, so I wasn't really sure, but I got the job, and it's a very long-term temp job, very long-term. And it can possibly be even longer, but the downfall is that it will probably never be permanent just because of the way the company is set up. They really don't hire their administrative people. All of them are temps, not just me. They're all, they just choose not to hire administrative type people. So I don't know if that's going to work for me long term because I'm getting older. I need 401k and all that kind of stuff. But I thank the Lord so much for this because had I listened to the TI, a lot of people in the TI community, I would not have had the confidence to even go for the interview because so many people in the TI community are discouraged because of what happens to us. Okay, I acknowledge this stuff really does happen. Like they really do blacklist you and they really do workplace harass you and all of that. They really do. And I still get it. Even on the temp job, I get the workplace harassment. But we have to be up for the challenge, you guys. We can't get discouraged. Well, we can get discouraged and we will, but we have to overcome that and do what we need to do to take care of ourselves. If I can go through workplace harassment and just go back and listen to some of my videos, I mean, I've been physically assaulted more than once in the workplace. I mean, I go through it, okay? I do. But the Lord gets me through every day, and He will get you through every day. And you will see in the end, you'll be stronger. You'll be stronger than when you went into this. You have to be able to take care of yourself, you guys. This is our livelihood. We have things we need to do in the world, okay? Some people have children they need to take care of. You need a place to live. You need, whatever, okay? I don't need to preach that same sermon that I preached before. But I'm just saying, don't let people take away from you what you know you need. You need a job. You need a job, okay? So don't let the perps do that to you. What else did I want to say? So make sure you upload your resume. And if you haven't worked in a while, you're not too sure, take some short assignments if you can. If you're going the temporary route, take some short assignments. A day or a week or and just to kind of get yourself out there again and get used to it. Don't expect the targeting to stop because it won't, you guys. Okay, I'm just being honest. It has not for me, but don't let that stop you. Please don't let that stop you. I said take advantage of the free training. Make sure you have Word. on your computer, or you have access to Word at the library, or however you do it. Okay, make sure you have Word. I did not have Word. That was really hindering me, because the employers, they use Word. For the most part, they use Word. Some use Google Docs, which I believe is free, but most of them use Word. So I had to go out and purchase Word, because that's what they use. Okay, so in order to get your resume to them, they won't be able to open most other formats. Also, you can download, what is it called? Open Office. Open Office is a free version of Word. It actually works exactly like Word. And what you can do, because this is the workaround that I figured out, what you can do if you have Open Office, you can create your resume in Open Office, and then you can do a file, save as, and save it as a Word document. Okay. Once you do that save as, if you do not have Word on your computer, you won't be able to open it anymore in the Word version, but you'll be able to open it in the Open Office version. Okay. But just so that you can get it to the employers, or up on the job board websites, you can get their free version of Open Office. Just make sure you're going to a legitimate site so you don't get a virus on your computer. Do a file, save as, and then save it as Word, okay, on your desktop or something. And whenever you want to shoot it over to an employer, then you use that Word version, okay. References. You're gonna need references. So think about that when you're at these jobs and they're stressing you out. And I mean, trust me, I know. Trust me, I go through a lot of stress, even now, at these jobs. But you will need references, okay? So you're gonna need some people in your corner at these jobs, okay? So you can't walk around all mad at everybody and not talking to anybody, because you're gonna need a couple comrades, okay? You're gonna need these people for years to come so that you can use them for references. So just try to identify someone who you think will help you out if you need someone to say a good word about you to a future employer. It could be a boss. It could be an ex-coworker. It could be even someone in the company that you indirectly worked with. Sometimes we are liaisons, and I know for me, I'm a liaison with different departments. And so try to build relationships with a few people. So once you leave that company, maybe you worked with someone in, I don't know, in the catering department or something. Maybe that person can give you a reference because they know your character, because they worked with you. Okay, so it doesn't always have to be a direct person who sat in your department, and as long as they were with that company. Now, I will tell you, the last place I applied, they wanted these people. Oh my gosh, now most places want 3 references. These people wanted 5 references. 5. Now, how hard is that for a TI? That is not easy for a TI. They wanted 5 references. And they wanted the references to go online and do this 5-10 minute survey on me. They really wanted a lot, okay? So just keep that kind of stuff in mind, and you have to be creative sometimes. Maybe you worked for a family business, and you don't always have to say it's a family member, especially if they don't have the same last name. You can just say, it was my boss, it was, whatever. One person I used as a reference, she was not my boss, but we worked on projects together. When we had certain projects, she supervised the projects. So she was not my supervisor, but for those particular projects, and we worked together a lot on projects, okay, on several different projects for a lot of years, actually. And so I asked her before I left, do you mind if I use you? I'm not going to say you're my supervisor. I'm just going to say that we worked on projects together and that you supervised my work, because the work could not go out the door unless she approved it. But on regular days, she was not my boss or anything, only on those particular projects. So things like that work too. Situations like that work. So just be creative when you're thinking of references. Um, Also, if you can get a reference letter, those carry a lot of weight. I was able to get several reference letters from my bosses, several of my bosses before I got laid off. I asked them, would you mind, if you gave me a reference letter? Now, keep in mind, these people were not very nice to me. Just go back and listen to some of the videos. I was practically in tears almost every day I came home, and some days I really was in tears. But I said, you know what do I have to lose? My last day is December 31st. What do I have to lose? I'm going to ask for a reference letter. And I did. And they said, okay, we'll do it. And they did. So a couple of places I applied, I gave those reference letters. And they didn't even bother calling them because they had the letter. So they said, okay, we have the letter. We don't need to speak with them. So you might want to look into something like that, okay? If you do get a reference letter, make sure it's on company letterhead, okay? Because they're not going to believe it if it's just on regular paper. So make sure it's on the company letterhead and the person signs it. They have their telephone number on there in case they want to call. What else? Sometimes they'll even let you type the letter up, and then they'll read over it and they'll just go ahead and sign it. And if that's the case, say some really, really nice things about yourself. Let's see. Some other types of references would be previous clients. Maybe you did home health care. I know I did that at one point, but the lady, she's deceased now. That was many years ago. But if she were still alive, I would probably ask her for a reference letter. So if you've done any kind of caretaking for anyone, maybe you even babysat for someone. If you babysat for someone, they will qualify as your supervisor. Any kind of volunteer work that you do, even if you do something in the community, even if you do, like I do a talk show call, okay, so even if you do something like that, those people can vouch for you. They can vouch for your character. Volunteer work counts. And I'm probably not telling you guys anything that you don't know, but it's just, this is, I'm trying to do this for tips, for jobs, and these are the things that came up. These things came in my mind because sometimes these are the things that we don't think about. And it could be really stressful trying to come up with references. I mean, I was stressed out trying to think, oh my gosh, because our environments at work are made so hostile. So we end up with not the best relationships, and then we get ostracized and blacklisted and all that. So then when you're thinking about who you're going to use for a reference, it can be kind of hard, So I'm throwing some ideas out there, okay? So any kind of previous clients, any kind of volunteer work, even if it's in the community, okay? Any kind of church work that you've done. Maybe your pastor can vouch for your character, because what these people are looking for is character references, okay? And they want somebody to vouch for your work quality, okay? How well you do your job, how pleasant you are, how you build relationships, okay? Working relationships. So any of the people who I just mentioned, they should be able to vouch for you. Now, going back to when I told you the last place I applied for, they wanted 5 references. They wanted two people that I directly worked for. Okay, so 2 direct supervisors, executives, anything like that. They needed 2 of those. And they said the other 3 can be volunteer work or clients or stuff like that. So that's rough. 5 is a lot. Okay, check your email often. Check your email, because what I have found is that a lot of communication now is coming through email, even text messages sometimes, but mainly email. So you want to make sure you don't miss an interview. A lot of these people do telephone interviews first. I'm finding that out too, and they'll just send it to your email. Several of them I missed until I checked my junk mail or my spam mail and I found that it went there. So you want to check your email often, check your spam, okay? Because it just might be there. Okay. Social media. I want to talk to you guys about social media because employers are checking social media, you guys. Clean your social media up. If you're looking for a job, clean it up. Clean it up. Clean all the targeting stuff up. Hide it or something while you're looking for a job because that's going to run people away from you. Watch your language out there, the stuff you're talking about, the explicit stuff. They're looking at social media, and I know it for a fact because not only did I read about that online, but I worked for someone who checked the social media and told me that they were checking social media. So check it, be careful with your social media. Clean that up because sometimes we'll wonder, like, why are we getting this job? Or I know I'm qualified. It could possibly be. I don't know. And you know what? To be honest, they shouldn't do that. They really shouldn't do that. Your personal life is your personal life. It should not spill over. Your work life should not spill over into your personal life. But life ain't fair. And they definitely do check your social media. I know it for a fact. Okay, so clean that up. Clean that up. Okay. Do a Google on yourself and just see what comes up. Okay, and then you'll see what they will see, because that's pretty much what they're going to do. They're going to do a Google. They're going to go to Facebook and maybe Twitter and maybe some of the other popular ones, but definitely Facebook. They're definitely going to Facebook. Okay, so just do a Google search on yourself and see what comes up. Okay, and just get that cleaned up while you're looking for a job. I think that's it. Oh, work from home jobs. Yeah, work from home jobs. Excuse me, I'm reading something. I just want to give you some ideas that I came up with for work from home. But before I do that, I wanted to thank some people because when I first got laid off, I did a video. You guys can, if you haven't seen that video, you should go to the video, even if you don't watch it, and look at the comments, because so many people started telling me about jobs and work from home jobs and things like that. So if you're interested in work from home jobs, try to find that video. What did I title that video? New status unemployed. I think that's what I titled that. And if you look in those comments, a bunch of people who were so kind. Thank you to all of you who left information on work from home jobs. Okay, you guys. So go there and click on some of those links. Hopefully those jobs are still available because that's been almost a year. But one of the main people who gave a bunch of information that I want to thank is B. Scott, and she also goes by Divine Freedom. So I want to thank her so very much because she gave me some really valuable information on how to find work from home jobs. Okay. Also, Angie gave me some information. Thank you, Angie. Lala. Thank you, Lala and Elvira. All of them and many more. So thank you guys for giving me that information. And I'm going to share a lot of it here on this video. So let's see. First of all, some different professions. You can do customer service. You can do doggy daycare if you like animals, maybe not even dogs, maybe cats too, I don't know. But if you go to rover.com, rover.com, and you don't mind like dog sitting or walking dogs, you guys, you can make good money. You can make good money. I found a dog sitter. When if we're going to be gone any length of time, a couple of days or whatever, there's a dog sitter that we use, and we got her off of this website, rover.com. That lady makes serious money, you guys. She makes serious money. She has on any given day maybe 10 dogs, and she prefers to only do small dogs. So if you go on that website, you can choose your preference, what size dog, what type of dog, and all of that. But she is just like such a nice lady with a nice nature, and the dogs really take to her. And I think a lot of people use her like if they go on vacation or going to be gone a couple days or whatever. But then she told me that she has some that bring their dog every day like daycare. So it's a good way to make money, you guys. So check that out, rover.com. Also, if you have any, I can't think of the name of this website, so I shouldn't even bring it up. But if you have any special skills, like you have, a second language, you teach piano, something like that, there is a website. I can't think of the name of it. I'll try to find it and put it in the description box. But you can find any kind of tutoring or anything like that, okay, on that website. You can also teach it and get paid for it. I can't think of the name of it, but that's a good one too. Home daycare. If you like children, you can work from home doing your own home daycare. You can be a nanny. You can work if you have arenas or ballparks in your area. They have concession stands and other type of jobs there. Okay, I'm just thinking of ways to make quick money until you find the job you want. Okay, any kind of administrative type work. There's a website. I think it was called Fancy Hands. Yeah, I think it's Fancy Hands. I used to go on there. So look on there. There's virtualassistants.com, where you can be a virtual assistant. I did that for a while, actually. A lot of these companies now, and this is probably the reason why the place where I'm working right now, this is probably one of the reasons why they're not hiring administrative assistants or executive assistants anymore, is because a lot of these places are going towards virtual assistants, where they will hire you to do their typing, they will hire you to do their to answer their phones, to make their travel arrangements, all the things that an assistant would do. People are saving money on benefits, and they're hiring people to do it at home, sometimes for less, actually. That's kind of why I stopped doing it, because it was like a lot of work for not that much money. But I guess if I would have stuck with it and built up a rapport with the clients and things, then maybe I could have done better financially. But I just thought, ooh, they kind of want a lot, for a little bit. But that is an option, especially if you need money. Okay, and I'll say too, by the way, if you're on like Social Security or something, I don't know how that goes, but I think there is a certain amount of money that you can make in addition to getting your SSI or whatever benefits. Okay, so look into that for yourself, because I'm not positive, but maybe if you want to supplement your income, you can do some of these things. Okay, but just make sure that it's legal, of course. Fiverr. Fiverr.com. This is kind of one of my favorite places. I also have done some work on here, and this is where you're advertising what you can do for $5. Okay. But don't get discouraged by the $5 thing. Everything on the website is supposed to cost $5, but I want you to go on there and just look at it, and you'll see how creative people are, where they make way more than $5. Okay, they call it a gig. For everything you do, it's a gig. I did a couple gigs on there, and you trust me, you can make more than $5. Okay, because they are real creative in how they do it. Say for instance, if you're gonna type something for somebody, and you say, "I'll type 5 pages for $5." There are some people that say, I'll type 5 pages in one font and one color. But if you want color, that's going to be an extra $5. If you want me to bold it, that's going to be an extra $5. So before you know it, for one page, the person will pay $20. So there's a lot of ways to be creative. And this is not only for administrative. This is for just about anything. So I'll just tell you to go check out the website if you don't know about it, because it could be graphic artists. It could be, some people say that they'll have a conversation with you for 5 minutes for $5. So just be creative. Check out the website. You can make a little bit of money on there. Okay. Of course, telemarketing is usually always available. Be careful with that. Be careful because um, they can really work you. They can really work you. And a lot of these telemarketers, they won't pay you unless you sell something. So be careful with that. U-Haul, U-Haul.com. They used to have jobs. I haven't checked lately, but they used to have some work from home jobs where you would schedule people to pick up a U-Haul truck. Okay, so look into that. Excuse me, Costco or any kind of warehouse. I don't know if everybody has Costco's in their area, but Costco is a warehouse where you can buy food and different things. They have samples where they give you samples of food. They usually heat the food up, and people are standing there giving you samples so you can taste it and ultimately buy whatever the product is. Okay, I did that long years ago, and it's kind of cool. You really make good money. I'm pretty sure right now you make a lot more than I did back then because I think that was in the 80s or the 90s when I did it. But and not only Costco, there are other places who do samples as well. The cool thing about it is that whatever was left over, we got to take home. So even if it was like lotions or whatever type of food product, you get to take it all home. Any of the extras. So look into that. Costco hires directly, or they used to. So you would go either to their website or go in the store and ask about how to give out samples. Some of the other places, they go through different agencies, but I can't think of the name of the agencies. Okay. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut used to hire, and again, I should have checked all this out because all this information is old. But Pizza Hut, they used to hire for you to take phone orders, and they had that from home. You were able to do that from home. Let's see. There's a place called Leap Force that I have written here. Zero Chaos. Brighton Communications. Brighten. And again, this stuff is kind of old, so I'm not sure if they're hiring right now. Amazon definitely should be hiring around this time of year. They have work from home things, but every time I checked, they were never California, so I think they do it by state. So if you go to their website and go to careers, and you should be able to look through Amazon and see if they have anything working from home right now. Also, Amazon is opening up a lot of local, they're opening up in a lot of cities and states locally. They're starting to open stores. They're starting to merge. They just merged with Whole Foods here. They opened up a big warehouse. If anybody listening is in the Bay Area, they opened up a big warehouse in Richmond. So look into Amazon because they're moving into the neighborhoods. Okay. I know people who do surveys online. There was one I was told was a little bit better than the other. This one called mysurvey.com. It's supposed to be pretty good. But there was another one. Oh, UPS and FedEx, of course. You guys want to check those, especially at this time of the year, okay? Especially now, because they are definitely hiring. UPS and FedEx. Oh my gosh. Oh, something research. What is it called? Did I say fancy hands? If you're into the administrative work, eahelp.com. 611, you know how you call 611 and ask for different information. Angie told me about that one. Thank you, Angie. They hire. That's customer service kind of stuff. Trying to see what's the name of that. I know I have it written here. Pinecone. Pinecone Research. Pinecone. I heard you do some surveys and you can make pretty good money. I don't know how much, but I heard that they're one of the better ones because I think some of these research companies are frauds, but I heard that one is good. Pinecone Research. I'm just looking. I think I told you guys about the message boards. Yeah, I did. Okay, I think that's it. One thing I do want to remind you of is that when you go to an interview, there's going to be two main things that you'll always need to explain. Of course, they're going to ask you a bunch of interview questions, of course. But two main things that you're always going to need to explain is why you left your last job. And, well, I shouldn't say explain, because you're going to have to explain the reason why you left your last job, okay? They're going to want to know why it's been so long, you know, if it's been a long period of time. So you at least want to try to stay on the job 6 months minimum, but really a year, 2 years, 3 years, and more. But at least 6 months if you can, okay? At least. And I know that can be hard for targeted people because of the workplace harassment and all the stress they put you under. But trust me, if I can get through it, you can. You definitely can. Do things to de-stress. Do things to take care of yourself mentally, spiritually, physically every day, and you'll get through it. Tell yourself, I'm not going to let these people take my job away from me. Okay? That's what I had to tell myself every morning. I had to force myself out of the bed. I had to force myself into the car. I had to force myself to drive down the highway. I had to force myself to get in that building. It was torture. It was torture every day. That's why I say if I can do it, you guys can too, okay? One of the things I used to tell myself is I am not going to let these people take my job away from me. They're going to have to fire me, okay? They're going to have to fire me because I'm not leaving. I'm not voluntarily giving up my job because I need my job, have bills to pay, kids to take care of, everything, okay? So just do whatever you have to do to maintain your job, okay? Because you're going to have to tell the next person why you left that job. And you can't go in there and say because I was targeted and you know, and they were harassing me, because then the next person won't hire you. Okay? So I'm glad I stuck it out because now I can say I was laid off. There were 100 people laid off, not just me. They shut down the whole department, which they did. And so I'm glad that I stuck it out, okay? So just stick it out because you need a job, okay? So you're going to have to explain why you haven't worked in however many months or however many years, okay? Why you're trying to get back in the workforce. And you're going to need at least 3 references, okay? So go in there. Do your best. Try to build relationships with people. It doesn't mean you have to go lunch with them, speak to them every day, but just go in there and do a good job. And like my boss, my old boss used to tell me, even though he used to hurt me too, but he used to always tell me, add value. Add value every day. And it's true. I pass that message on to you because if we add value, they will have to be able to say, she did a good job. He did a good job. You know, I like the way they did this. I like the way they did that. Doesn't mean any of us are perfect because we're not. But we go in there, we do our best, given the circumstances, because again, most environments for a TI is going to be hostile. But it's okay. We already know it's a setup. We know all of that, okay? But we go in there. Forget that whole TI jacket because we don't have to wear it. Go in there and do the best that you can, okay? So I hope that this helps. I really do. I know I was kind of all over the place, but I hope it helps someone, okay? God bless you guys and stay strong.